Big news coming out of St Mary's. Alright, hello and welcome to the MatchDayVlogs YouTube channel. As always, please remember to smash that like button, hit subscribe, because it really does make a difference to the channel. We're here this evening to talk about some big news. Some big news.
I can't wait to hear what you've got.
You can't wait. Is that Ralph Hasenhüttl has been missing from Staplewood today and still is Southampton Football Club manager. I'm afraid to say I'm done, Jack.
It's not. That's not the news I wanted to hear.
No. Well, I think me and Jack were having a bit of a chat earlier today, and we were back and forth on the messenger, and we thought, do you know what we should do? We should go live on air and do this publicly, like all dirty laundry should be done in public on the internet. Isn't that right, Jack?
Yeah. I think we just got sick of typing, and we thought might as well just do this on air. And you thought, hey, I've got an idea. I like some clickbait.
I have clickbait. I'm sorry. I just wanted to get the attention of the Southampton fan base just so they come on and give their thoughts and views, because I think there's plenty of people that are sharing an opinion right now in regards to what's going on, should he continue, and how on earth is he still there. And I think with a lot of the news that's come out recently, it's almost as if the question of Ralph in or Ralph out is kind of irrelevant now, because I kind of think Ralph might be out himself.
Yeah, that's what it definitely feels. It definitely feels that way, doesn't it? You hear these reports of maybe he tried to resign. And you hear like the reports of they're not talking to players, and it just sounds so dead, and it's as dull as ditch water. And when you watch the games and you see Ruben Sellers screaming on the touchline towards the end of the game, you see Ralph with his hands on his hips. You're like, what are we doing? Like, who's in charge here? Who's running the show? Going on?
Yeah,
it's just been bad for a minute or two, hasn't it? And even you can say against Villa it was a terrible game, right? But the shape was there. It was just there was no creativity up front. So the next thing you think, okay, just put a bit of creativity up front. But then he goes and changes Peru and makes the back a bit unsteadier with his new combination. So that looks. It's just hard. It's been a real hard watch a few weeks. And you're right. It's not a matter of do I want Poch out or do I want Ralph out? It's
jumping the gun even further there.
Yeah, it's like no, time's come now. It's like I want him to do well. I want him to see, but he stopped doing it. Even the things that we were enjoying about his football, the pressing, the mentality, the never stop. You go against the team, you give everything. It's a mess. Tottenham away seems so long ago. And it seems like even longer since we can do that consistently in a few run of games, and it's just kind of over it now.
Yeah, I mean, I think Saturday wasn't as bad as the last two games, was it?
No,
like we had more possession, we had more shots, we had more shots on target, we had more corners, which didn't feel like we had more corners, but we had more corners. So we had more of everything, more possession, etc., etc. But it's just the fact that we've probably come up against one of the best defences in the league, and Everton took their chances, and that Dwight McNeil goal was pretty decent, actually. But in terms of all the misgivings, that was the opportunity to make an impression, wasn't it? That was an opportunity to get a good game at home, get a win, and get everyone back on side, and it just didn't happen. So everyone's thoughts are going like, you've just shown us three games on the bounce that, let's face it, they are teams that we should be beating and we could have beaten.
Yeah,
that's the most damaging factor of it, is we could have beaten those teams had we shown up. And I just think the team that was put out on Saturday was a much livelier setup, but Leras got kind of found out because there was sort of a bit of a height difference between his opposition on the opposing number on the other side. And it was a bit of a mess. I mean, how many times did you see Joe Aribo sort of stepping on toes with James Ward-Prowse? It just was all over the shop.
When you consider how many resets we've already had this season, you think in the summer we were planning for a 3 at the back with 1 up top. That went out the window very quickly. And then, we sort of reverted to a 3 up top, and then that went out the window. And then we've gone back to the standard 2-2-2, and that went out the window. It's just like is there an idea? Because it doesn't seem there's a consistent idea being given here, and the players are suffering for it.
Yeah.
You know, you can blame sort of like, you know, Shea and Adam Armstrong not being ruthless in front of goal, and that is an issue. You know, they probably should have put a few chances away on Saturday. Really, Shea should have definitely. Adam had a couple of chances that he, you know, sort of swapped out. They're not confident in front of the box. They're just a bit toothless, and they've got no confidence at the front of it. But you know, when you're only getting 3 chances a game, and you got the rest of the team really struggling behind you to get you those balls and to, you know, just work, just put a work rate in. I mean, and just to see things like how tight and narrow was that game on Saturday. And it's just like you just always calling out for them to look for that pass over to Kyle Walker-Peters, or, you know, even Lorenzo on the other side. You don't like that Shea Adams volley across the pitch, very dangerous ball. But he's done it twice now, and twice has it gone to the player.
Yeah, but it's just the most risky pass you could ever make. Like blindly kicking the ball across the halfway line, just with how high we press as well and how high we defend.
I don't think he's blindly kicking that. I think he knows what he's doing, and it's actually a very, you know, naughty little pass.
Yeah.
But is it risky? Yeah. I'm not stupid. Of course it's risky. But is it cool? Yeah. When Dinapo does 15 step overs before going past the player, is it risky? Yeah. But when it works, it's beautiful.
It is indeed. And full apologies to anyone that's been clickbaited onto here. Just going to reiterate that. I do feel bad, but I'm flattered that everyone thought my Photoshop skills were that good. Anyway, welcome. But we're here to debate this whole kind of scenario at the moment. I mean, I heard that some backroom staff left last week.
Yeah.
And also,
I mean, of the coaches that came in the summer, I think 2 have left.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. I know that, you know, they probably said for personal issues or bits and bobs, but here we are.
It's that time of night.
You know, Ralph out, but the cans are in.
Cherry pop.
Love that. But you know, there's a bit of dismay and disheart. You know, players that were leaving, and then you hear stuff. You know, Valerie wasn't a player that left on bad terms.
No.
And his first interview out, he was like, you know, Ralph, you know, there was no communication with Ralph. You don't have a relationship with him. You spoke to the coaches. And if you think who those coaches were for the past 2 years, difficult, very difficult, because those guys, you know, you're fair play to them, but they were not of a right standard. And now you've got a decent standard of coach in, and suddenly there seems to be more questions being asked behind the scenes, and you're hearing a lot more fuss.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing to think about is he is our longest serving Southampton manager in the Premier League. Am I right in thinking that?
I think in the Premier League, I know he's just behind Klopp and Pep for longest in the league. And, you know, he does that. He did have those excuses of he had his hands tied for a long time with the former ownership and the money he can get in and having to sell players. Yep, that's the Southampton job. We all knew that was the way it was. But he did just have a summer that was very much for him. Okay, we might have missed out on a key striker, and fair play. That's a big thing I think we missed out on. I think, you know, our marquee signing is what we didn't make. But you now had these strikers of Shea and Adam Armstrong here for, you know, 2 seasons now, and they should know what their jobs are. They should know how to put a ball in the net.
Yeah, they really should. They really should. I was going to say to Dean here, come and find me at the Etihad, but I'm thinking probably about 20 people come and go, I'm Dean. So I'll apologies, but welcome to the show. I mean, I allude to the fact that we're playing City next, and it kind of, a lot of people thinking like, what's the point of bringing in a new manager now if he's just going to go into an absolute bloodbath on Saturday? But if you're going to think along those lines, surely you just let Ruben Selles take out the team on Saturday and just go.
Listen, you're not wrong, but at the same time, if you lose if it's a big loss on the weekend with Ralph there, you've got every excuse then to, you know, this is it, okay. And it was a big ask for you to get something out of this game, and, you know, if it doesn't, it doesn't. And if you do, you get to go out with your head held high a little bit. You know, thanks for everything, but, you know, it's time to go. Just get. But anybody you bring in there, is going to face Haaland, and I think Man United have pretty much kept everybody in their job for a weekend because he's insane. It's insanity how good he is. A hat trick and 2 assists. What is he on? 15 goals? Like, he's 5 off of last season's Golden Boot after 8 games. Oh, it's just mental. He's just. Harry Kane must be shook. He was like, people are going to find out that I ain't got no numbers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think everyone knows that Sunday's a free hit, so you might as well be a free hit with a guy who's on the way out anyway. And it gives you a little bit longer to figure out, now that maybe now they've made the decision right. Ralph is definitely on the way out. Let's go a bit harder for some of these people that we've been talking to.
Yeah.
That
who is that though?
Well, in the Athletic article, they said that when it was bad last season, they started to look out for people and they've maintained those relationships. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Thomas Frank in there, Brentford, with the Erasmus section. For me, like, obviously, there's one man that we would all love. Just Big Sam.
What's this? Not in a million years. No. Careful what you wish for. I mean, I saw a comment. Sorry, go on.
I said, when I read some of those names, like, I, for some reason, in the past couple of weeks, he's doing the rounds. I've seen like three podcasts with Sean Dyche, and I do like this man. I do like the way he talks about football, and I do like a lot about him, but it's just quite risky still with Sean Dyche. Although I do like him. I think Sean Dyche is a good character, and the way he talks about football and the way he sort of thinks about management, I like it. But I can understand why people will be very sort of like, Sean Dyche from Burnley. You sure?
Yeah.
But look how tough he made that Burnley side though, with no resource.
It's true, but we've got resource, and I just think that no disrespect to any Sean Dyche fans out there, I just don't see us playing Brexit football or seeing our fans wanting to see that.
I don't know if that's not necessarily his style of football. That's the style of football that was necessary for Burnley.
With the resources that he had. Fair enough.
With the resources that he had, and what, like, Burnley couldn't afford to go out and do those sort of players. Even now, they're still not, like, Burnley have a way of doing things.
Yeah.
And he came into that structure. Southampton have a way of doing things, and as a manager, it's kind of his job. As a manager, it's your job to come in and manage what you are given.
Yeah, that's true. Comment here from Chris saying, "Would love to see Thomas Frank, but why would he come to us, or why would he leave Brentford?" He might leave Brentford due to the relationship with Rasmus Ankersen in terms of the project that was set up there. Is Southampton a bigger club than Brentford? I would selfishly like to think so in terms of the kudos, but in terms of how well Brentford's doing at the moment and how well they're being run, that'd be a strange one. But money does often talk. But I was a bit confused with talk about Ralph offering his resignation, and I think resignation would be a strong word. I guess he probably went to the board after that Leicester defeat and said, "Look, I'm here, do what you will. Perhaps it's time for me to go." And then, so I don't think it was perhaps an official, here's my letter of resignation, because that tends to work on the basis that you hand in that and you can leave out the door. You're not trying to get out of prison time. But obviously there's probably conversations that have been had in the past in regards to, mutual parting agreement in terms of, okay, you pay me the 50% of my salary for the remainder of my contract and I'll happily walk. But no one resigns these days. Everyone waits to get sacked. Yeah. No Premier League manager has resigned since ever. Maybe someone in the comment section help me out if a Premier League manager has ever resigned. Leaving by mutual consent might be the closest thing that we've had to that. But obviously there must be money in the parting with that. But it's kind of... But of course, if you do sack a manager, you do have to pay off the remainder of the contract, which Ralph has 18 months left.
Yeah.
Which ain't too pricey.
Well, here's the thing,
Max is going for it in the comment section. Look at this. He's on one.
We were very upset when, Bednarak wanted to drop out of, a semi-final because he wanted to play for Poland. And that's just, that's not the mindset you need in a squad like ours, doing what we need to be doing and performing every week. You can't have a mentality of, I need this, I need the rest. And when when Ralph said he was thinking about retiring at the end of this contract, we all sort of went, "That's a crazy statement. What a weird thing to say." And then you think about it, you're like, that is the words of a man that's given up.
Yeah.
And that's thinking about retiring in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, what? Now you see with the form that you've been in since then, you're just a bit like, oh, you know, are you trying? Are you giving 100%? Those players that, you know, I thought didn't give about 100% the past few seasons, you know, could you get more out of it? We're now at the situation where Ralph, like, can you get more out of this position with somebody who's got a bit of fire in their belly, somebody who's going to jazz up the squad? I mean, given that is I don't think you can argue that that's the relationship Ralph has with the players, that he doesn't talk to them, because that's something I've heard too much now.
Yeah.
And you hear it straight from Valerie. That's definitely the situation. So surely just getting in a manager, you know, even as a tad less than Ralph's quality, but will motivate them, will get them at least get us out of the funk that we're in.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the bit that's hurting for me on that is the fact that that's exactly what Charlie Austin said, in the sense that he never came talk to me. That's the perfect English of Charlie Austin, by the way. He never came talk to me. He said in regards to, you know, never went to speak to him personally, and actually just basically told him that he wasn't part of the plans, and that was the end of it, really. So I kind of don't want to believe that Charlie Austin was telling the truth, but there we go. I'm curious to know, I was going to put out a poll and I forgot, so sorry about that.
Actually, all right, mate. He's already out on loan. Jokes.
Oh, wow, it's what you subscribe to. Like and subscribe. Now, in regards to, like, how is the pendulum swinging in terms of, like, Ralph in, Ralph out? And I kind of sort of see a few people out there that are sort of steadying the ship and saying, look, this isn't as bad as, you know, the Bradford era and some of the terrible managers we've had in the past. Yes, it's probably perhaps time for a change, but it's not that bad in terms of how it's being portrayed. I just think that perhaps people who have grown up in an era where they've had, you know, Dusan Tadic, Virgil van Dijk, Morgan Schneiderlin, Graziano Pele smashing in goals and everything's brilliant, and we're fighting for European football. That it wasn't always the case, you know, and we had many years with a terrible defence. But I'm curious to know, like, if there's anyone in the chat section right now who is Ralph in. So let us know.
I think biggest change for me, right, is that I'm feeling now probably worse than how I was feeling at the end of Puel's reign.
No, I'm not there because I was bored then, and I didn't care.
I'm bored now. Are you telling me the only reason you care now is because we just care more than we did back then?
I suppose.
I think we're just so invested in it. Like, you got to say, like, especially after the past 2 years and stuff, we're so much more invested than, you know, we were. You can't not be, the amount of time it takes up on my goddamn brain right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, it would depressed and bored with Puel, but at least, you know, there were games that we were winning. At least, you know, we might slug out a win.
That's just such negative football, though. You can't compare Puel with.
Are you saying this has been positive football this season?
It's attacking football. It's football. I can't say Claude Puel brought any remnants of football to Mary's. I mean, okay, yeah, he got us to
I would happen to say that Puel's last season was better than the last year with Ralph, since March with Ralph.
Okay, yeah, that's not, yeah, okay, fair enough. Shout out to Kieran here, Everton fan. He's saying, hello lads, Ralph out if you want to stay up. Wow. Congrats on the win, by the way. Congrats on the win. I couldn't do my smug end of vlog, Kieran, what's the score on this one? So that came to haunt me. But yeah, there we go. Everyone go and subscribe to Kieran. Great Evertonian fan. John, that one. There has been a Carrot Road here saying Ralph in. There we go. Someone here saying on the fence, depends who we get linked to. Yeah, I mean, I would like to think that the boards and the people that we have that pull the strings would be very well advised on stats and numbers, and it will be all very calculated. This wouldn't be a punt. Anyone that's coming in.
I remember last season them saying, we will always have a backup list, whether the manager's 100% in or on the way out. We'll always have a list of who they want next and what their targets are, which is just that's just smart from any team, any business. If all likelihood, all eventualities in a game where managers can be bought away, and they do, you always need to know who your next plan is going to be. So, and you got to admit, Martin Simmons has done very well by this club in the sense of new ownership and deals to be done, and trying to sort everything out. He's done very, very well, and I think he's just been very loyal to Ralph, because of what they've all been through the past 2 years. If you think, Ralph probably doesn't talk to the players, but he talks to Martin Simmons.
Yeah. I get that, and I want to bring up this comment here. I'm Ralph in wait until the World Cup. I mean, with the run of games that we have, we've got City away on Saturday. Can't wait for that. Looking forward to that one. After that, we have West Ham.
Yep.
Is it West Ham? And is it Bournemouth, then Arsenal?
Then Palace, I think, is it?
Then Palace, Newcastle, then Liverpool.
Well, here's the thing. Who's Brighton's new manager?
I don't know, but it's very good already.
Exactly. But did you know him? Do you know who he is?
No. Okay.
I don't know who he is. And he just came into the league and got a draw against Liverpool in a really, really good game.
Yeah.
Okay, a fair play. He's coming to a squad that plays a system in a certain way and been very well managed.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just come in and hit the ground running with one of the best teams in England.
But isn't that the sign of a great manager, in the sense that you leave a position and the squad is in a much better situation and they're okay? If you can walk away from a managerial position and the system runs great, then that to me that's key. That's key.
Well, here's the thing. If a manager comes into Southampton right now, what it looks like is they've got a team that is on the cusp of doing something right, but they are missing some sort of drive and passion towards it and a fire.
Yeah.
So what Ralph is lacking is that fire. So maybe if somebody comes in and can just set that team alight, it'll be above a praise on the new manager, and it'll be a bit of a look. Ralph was on the right lines here. This squad that he's built and everything that he's doing was right.
Yeah.
He was just done. And how could you, mate? When you think about the 4 years he's about to have here, it'd be hard for any manager to go through that.
It's a long time.
Now we're just at a point where it's like, mate, you're done. We're done.
Yeah, we've had enough. No comment here from Kieran. Thanks, mate. You looked shocking on Saturday. I'd had a bad day, right? Had a bad day. I wasn't prepared to lose. Oh, you're talking about the squad. Okay, yeah. They're pretty bad as well. 80% saying Paul Sturrock, Ian Bramford. Yeah. Poch to return. I'd love it. I just don't see it happening. I really don't see it happening.
Listen, this is just a pipe dream. But damn, is it a beautiful pipe dream. Look at his face!
But it's a long shot. But if we're linked with players like Cody Gakpo, then what's to say that we aren't able to attract an elite manager?
Right. Can we just daydream about this for a second?
Poch wouldn't be grumbling about the squad. If we're talking about Ronald Koeman, he'd be saying, "Well, just give me loads of money." It's not going to happen.
Yeah, let's. If we're going to daydream for just a second, right? Poch, it was all right at Tottenham. Wasn't amazing, but good enough.
Got to the Champions League final.
Yeah, but listen, did he win it? Did he win anything with Tottenham? Than anybody?
Yeah, it's more to do with Tottenham.
Exactly. So you go to PSG. That definitely doesn't work at PSG.
No, but I'm telling you now, if Poch had the investment that Conte's had, different story.
Yeah, again,
different story.
But he didn't, Mike. So allow me to carry on with my little dream here, please.
Poch in the old stadium, no investment in the structure, but the squad alone, big things.
But now you look at the teams that would be available for Poch to go to. No, everyone's full right now.
Yeah.
Is there? There's nowhere really. Is that Leicester that have just scored?
Leicester just scored. They're 1-up.
Yeah. Who's available to him? So for maybe if somebody was like, listen, you can come back to Southampton, where everyone loves you, it's going to be like Rafford to Newcastle.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit of a punt, and also this time you have a bit of money. There's already a decent squad there. Everything's set, ready to go, and they just missed out on their star signing in the summer. So you get to do it in January.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's appealing.
It's not beyond the realms of possibility. That's all I'm saying. I won't sort of go further than that. But mad things happen in football. Comment here from Bush's friend. I'm terrified I've said something there, but there we go. If Shea had finished his dinner, would we be here? There were lots of chances, weren't there? There were lots of chances. And there was that mad flash when it was 1-1, and it was literally just before Dwight McNeil scored that pretty awesome goal. And literally was about 3 or 4 strikes on goal where Pickford dived for them all, but they all got stopped by the defenders, so it didn't go through. So it was... Yeah, will we be chatting about this? I still think we would, to be honest with you, because it wasn't like that first half was dreadful again, awful. So I still think there'll be grumblings and there'll be we've still got problems here. Do I think it's by mutual agreement when it happens? To be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if Martin Simmons has already sat and had a conversation with Ralph, and they scored again. If Martin Simmons hasn't already sat and had a conversation with Ralph and says, look, we know this is over, just sit tight until we find someone.
Yeah, that could very much be
that happens all the time in regards to whether it's you're taking care of something for someone, you're managing it, you're doing this, you're doing that, and they say, look, we know it's come to the end, but let's figure out a way to resolve all this. So just sit tight, and we're trying to work on something at the moment. And it'll be like, okay. Which would be a weird kind of scenario, which will probably lead to the fact that he's not talking, well, he's talking even less to the players now. So,
yeah.
Anyway. Comment here from Mark, Jane Ward-Prowse loss of form is very concerning. Is there any connection? Is he at odds with Ralph? Nobody knows what goes behind closed doors. I don't think James Ward-Prowse is a particularly vocal player on the pitch. Anyway, it's always something that people have grumbled about. But he hasn't been great this season, so it clearly hasn't helped.
Our form does worry me about Prowse. Prowse not getting in that England squad, knowing he said how much it hurt him not getting in the World Cup squad.
Yeah.
If we don't change stuff now, there's a chance we'll lose him too, and I don't want that. I want to keep him forever. I'm very selfish in this sense. Ward-Prowse is ours.
Yeah.
He's mine. He's yours. So we've got to keep him.
We've got to keep him indeed. So I'm saying bring Atkins as a motivational assistant. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
absolutely. Do you know what? Did you see Atkins was at the game? Like the fact he loves it. He loves it still. I would love that. I would love them to see them bring Atkins in behind the scenes.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Coming here from Chris saying Aston Villa game was one of the worst games I've ever seen. Yeah. It was terrible. And even the Villa fans that saw their team win were just like, that was terrible. Let's see if there's any more here.
But let's be fair, the Wolves game before it, we all thought, well, that was one of the worst games we've ever seen. You go to Villa and you're like, well, that was the worst game we've ever seen. And then the Everton game, you're like, well, that wasn't the worst game we've ever seen, but that was one of the worst things I've ever seen.
So I just got to bring it. This is probably the most random comments I've seen in this thing. What do I think of Andrew Tate?
The United fan? Great. Yeah. I love him. It's very funny.
The alpha male managing Southampton, that'd be hilarious. Anyway, Isaac Shaw saying, I've been Ralph out for a while. I've been out with Ralph for a while. Oh, okay. There we go. There's lots of them.
There's lots of them.
Ralph out is an easier answer than 2 + 2. So there we go. But any thoughts, extra thoughts on that Everton game? Just to conclude it out here.
I thought Larios had good moments, but the moment they realised that he was 4'2", the Everton just started going for it. And he just couldn't handle it. So and then I think Peru and Armstrong both looked decent when they came on. Just if Armstrong could have finished some stuff.
Yeah.
But again, just everywhere else toothless. I feel like Aribo's probably. It's getting to a point where we might even see Aribo go up top because he's the only one that's got any composure in front of goal. And he shows it time and time again. Every goal that he scored for us has just been so calm under pressure. The City goalkeeper down as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see Aribo getting pushed further and further up until they can sort something out. I wouldn't see Aribo sort of playing that strike role and then Stuart Armstrong. But be bodged again, but it'll be, it'll be yet another change of formation and change of shape. But that's just where we are right now.
It is.
And I know that people seem to be giving Mara a bit of a hard time, but let's be fair. He was never meant to be the starter. He was meant to be probably third or fourth in line.
Well, this is another thing because there's clearly talent in there.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about Lavia. I'm talking about Edozie. I'm talking about Larios. I'm talking about Mara, Aribo. They're clearly talented players that have done things. I mean, okay, Mara's been in the French league, Ligue 1, so it's it's slightly different, but he's clearly got talent there. But it's almost as if they're not being made the most of.
No.
And I was listening along. I was driving back from somewhere last night and found there was one of those Twitter Spaces talking about Saints FC stuff. So I had that on in the car. I was driving back, and someone made a comment in regards to just think of those players, those youth players. Those youth academy players that aren't being fully utilised, that are ending up not progressing, and are then going out on loan, and then eventually going to play in the Championship or elsewhere in Eredivisie, Ligue 1, or wherever it may be, that aren't being developed.
There are a lot of them. When you think of some of the talent that's gone out there, Obafemi, Tella, Smallbone, they're just being slowly but surely wasted away out there in the other leagues instead of getting hardened for our league.
Yeah. Come here. Should have slowed down the game after Argo. It's just ridiculous how we concede a free kick and then concede
very
that fast.
I think it speaks volumes when you say probably Kyle Walker-Peters hasn't even been playing well the past couple of games. That free kick was very needless.
Waste of time.
I think Bazunu is getting hard done by. I think probably could have done a bit better. It's one of those things where he probably could have done better, but they go in. I'm not angry at him yet. But I did send you a very insane message earlier on about a prediction that I have for Man City, and that is I think Alex McCarthy will start.
What? Because Bazunu.
I think at this point, I think for that game, you'd rather save. It'd be better to save Bazunu's confidence than it would.
Here's a sword. Go full on it.
Yeah, you are, Alex.
That's what you're saying. Yeah.
Ralph's on his way out, Alex, and so are you.
Yeah.
Haaland.
I'll put a comment here. Sorry, you probably already answered this. I joined the stream late. Who would you want to replace Ralph as manager? My honest opinion is I don't know. I haven't done much research in terms of who's out there and available. The pipe dream is in the image behind Jack there. But I have full faith in this in the ownership of Southampton at the moment in terms of who they will find, and they will be looking at the stats rolling on from last season, and it ain't pretty in terms of how many points we've accumulated from the possible full outcome should we have won them. But
But that's not what they asked, mate. They asked, "Who would you want?" Come on,
who would I want?
Get off the fence. Let's not pie in the sky. Let's hover around about 80% reality, shall we?
Who do I want? I know who I don't want. In terms of who I want.
Okay, who don't you want?
I don't want Big Sam.
Obviously not. That's a silly thing to say. He's never managed in the Premier League again.
I'm not sure I want Sean Dyche.
You don't want Dyche.
No. I like Thomas Frank.
Thomas Frank's very good. Have Leicester scored again?
Yeah, I think Maddison scored again.
Maddison.
Yeah.
See, when Maddison scoring free kicks and Ward-Prowse isn't problems. Oh my God, that's a good free kick too.
This is going to be Leicester's first win of the season.
Fair play, Leicester.
I mean, Brendan's still there.
Barely. They just can't afford to get rid of it, and that's the thing there. They can't afford to buy players. You think they can afford to sack Rodgers?
Yeah. Coming here from Isaac. Sorry, did I answer your question, Jack?
No, you didn't. You gave me some no's. Give me. Just I guess you said Thomas Frank.
I said Thomas Frank, and if it was possible, Poch.
Oh man.
I think in terms of to have a club that he can build his name up with and get a bit of kudos back in there, because let's face it, he's been in the mud with where he's been after the Tottenham job, and he's not going to want to go to United, is he?
No.
He's not going to want to do that. I mean, it's
and
basically,
Ten Hag just got manager of the month. Okay, he had a bit of an issue this weekend, but he's still not got his squad that he wants. That's still a work in progress over there, so that's going to get way more time. United's a whole different kettle of fish.
Yeah,
I just look at the teams available and I think there's not really many big teams. So if you want a little passion project and something like, Poch probably had to have a lot of, you're not wanted for a while from certain teams.
Yeah.
And like I say, a lot like Rafa going to Newcastle, he's just gonna be loved. It's pie in the sky. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. There's no way it's gonna happen, but we can all dream.
Yeah.
I've seen people saying Tom Tuchel. Those ones are crazy.
Yeah. Lots of people sort of, to be fair, I agree. My only concern is who we'll replace him with. Let us know in the chat section who you would like to see as manager of Southampton Football Club. Just to finish this off, because we can't go on this forever. Otherwise, people get bored, won't they?
Yeah. What about Rafa?
Or
is he past his sell-by date?
I'm not sure.
We all know why it didn't work at Everton. It didn't work at Everton because it was Everton.
Yeah, and I think he probably had a lot of players to try and figure out there. But we've got a lot of young talent at Southampton. So I think any manager looking at that team sheet will get a little bit excited about that. But it's just whether or not they're prepared to be in a situation where we acquire new young talent, develop, sell, and repeat the process kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, I did see another comment saying, 4 years and nothing's different. And I almost went, yeah, Premier League football.
I mean, no, nothing is different.
Yeah. That in itself is kind of like, well, good job. Ish.
Kinda.
I mean, coming from a world of Mark Hughes and Pellegrini.
I mean, that was different. You're right. That is different. But I mean, what's changed in his he has, regressed. I mean, you look at we don't even play the football that he wanted to play. I don't think he knows what football he wants to play because it's changed 4 or 5 times this season.
Yeah.
And none of the things that we were. That's the thing, Mike. What do we love about Ralph? That pressing, going against playing. What we saw Spurs going out and playing against teams, and they're not doing that.
Yeah.
They're not doing that. Goals don't just come from the attackers. When we were flying high with this decent Ralph squad, the midfield was scoring, defense was scoring.
Mm-hmm.
Goals were coming from all over the shop. We weren't just relying on those players, and now we seem to be. We are because we're not creating anything else.
Yeah. You say we're not creating anything else. I mean, I still think Saturday there was opportunities, and really, aside from that first half, the second half, there's opportunities for us to get goals and not do stupid things on the pitch to concede.
In reality, we all should have started getting concerned as soon as we started taking long throws. That's Brexit FC.
Yeah.
That's Tony Pulis, mate.
Yeah. Oh, someone's got a shout out for Pep there. Yeah? No, I'd take Pep. Yeah, I'd be happy with that.
He's talking about old Pepe Maguire, who works down the old Dog and Duck. He manages the Sunday League team. He's very good. I think they've gone undefeated the past few weekends.
Yeah, no, indeed. Someone's after the England's women's manager. Yeah.
The day will come.
Wouldn't that be something? They
will come.
They will indeed. Who we're displacing if we advance to a Europa team? It's unrealistic. We can dream, but it can't be expected. It is crowded in terms of who's going up then, and I think behind that statement of people saying we should be pushing for Europe, it's like we should be pushing, we should be competing, we should be playing in a respect that it could be possible. But let's face it, Wolves away, Villa away, dreadful. First half on Saturday, awful.
What I don't like being is a team when people talk about how good the Premier League is. They always have to go, but you have to ignore Southampton.
Mm.
When you talk about you want Southampton to be a team that is fine margins, that we're not hitting those top tens, we're not getting in there because it's just little bits and bobs. But they seem to be becoming a bit of a thing of Southampton. Every season questioned to go down.
Mm-hmm.
Relegation scraps, 9-0s. It's the brand of Southampton has taken a massive knock in the past 3 or 4 years. Let's be fair, since Ralph's taken over.
You reckon?
Because I think so. Because I think when you had Pellegrini in, you were coming off the Europa League that years.
Yeah.
So everyone was like, "Oh, Southampton, last season they were in Europa League. It's a bit faded." And then they have big escape. Mark Hughes has got them sorted again. They should, let's see them get back on track.
Yeah.
Then it dips down. Ralph gets them. Ralph does all right, and then 9-0, almost relegation scrap. Coming out of the blocks some of the season. I do honestly think our stock is at a bit of a low right now.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, this is the lowest our stock has been since being back in the league.
Yeah. Yeah. Ish. I just still think that season where Gabbiadini saved us was kind of pretty low.
Yeah, but at the same time,
he stayed up on
goal at the same time, Gabbiadini saved us, and that there was a bit of fight. There was fight towards the end of that season. And there was something there. A relegation battle season is determined by whether you survive it, and we did survive it.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're something else. So let's go on from there. So it's just, I do think this is our stock is at an all-time low. Just our general reputation, I don't think it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we were the one of 2 teams to get. That City didn't beat you all last season, but no one talks about that because who cares?
Yeah,
we beat Chelsea 2-1, and they didn't even talk about after the game on Match of the Day.
Yeah.
Southampton stock is at an all-time low. There's a reason I get upset when I watch punditry for it, because no one cares, because we're not giving them anything to care about.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you've only got to listen to the mainstream media in terms of how they talk about Southampton. It's like as far as they're concerned, Southampton stay in the league. That's a massive success and such a win. And it's just like you say to them, but who have they spent? They spent like £1 million on each of the new signings. Like we signed like 10 players and spent like 80 million in this transfer window. And it's like it's complete news to them. They got no idea.
Yeah, but we're not giving them performances. Like if you do that and we come out the gate and these players are flying, and maybe Lavia would if he hadn't got injured, or a Dozy comes out to something, but we're not winning and we're not playing entertaining football, and there's no reason to look at them, because to be fair, we signed 2 academy players. Any other team does that, no one cares.
Yeah.
But we're using them in a different way, and it should be exciting. It should be something that they look at, but we're not giving the football we're playing doesn't shine the light on that.
Yeah. Coming here from Charlie, we have the squad to finish 11th, and last season we had the squad to finish top 10. And Ralph has proved with good resources he doesn't perform. Yeah. I just don't think he's actually fully working with them. I'm convinced there's a conversation that's been had, and it's already been discussed, and it's just a case of finding someone. And part of me is thinking that in the sense that because of those like next manager to be sacked odds being slashed on Ralph like during the international break, so that must have been like someone overhearing like communications between managers and clubs and basically sort of saying, there's lots of people talking to Southampton at the moment. Yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me. And actually someone's brought up Jack saying, did you see the Gabby Agbonlahor TalkSport argument with the Southampton? I did, and that's exactly the one I was referring to in regards to Gabby Agbonlahor. Basically just assumed that Southampton spent 10-15 million quid tops in the transfer window just buying nobodies. So there we go.
That's what we.
That's what we're up against.
Here's something a little bit unfortunate, right? TalkSport has nothing but garbage on it. However, the Total Saints podcast has just become an affiliate. So really, congratulations to those guys. That's awesome. But for God's sake, now I have to say there's something good on TalkSport. Can you not?
Yeah.
Glenn Delacour on TalkSport. Love that. That's got a ring to it.
Sky bet odds on Ralph Hasenhüttl 2-1. Steve 66. Hello, Steve. Seeing what's happening to Forest tonight proves just spending money. I guess doesn't do much, but
yeah. Well, that was never going to work. We all saw Fulham. You remember Fulham signed Schürrle? Do we all remember that? Then when Fulham signed Schürrle and they got rated.
I'm sorry, clickbaiting everyone. Listen out. Yep, talk that indeed.
Doesn't stop us listening to it on the drive over from the way.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's kind of like one of those things, really. But yeah, no, I think with Nottingham Forest, it's just a bit of a mess, really. I kind of thought that their manager didn't realise he could only field 11 players on pitch. It's like, well, I can't field all 25. Oh, okay. So that's probably where it went wrong. Shout here for Bruno Lage. Lage? How do you pronounce that? Like that?
Lage.
Yeah.
Lage. You know, I think when it worked at Wolves, it worked at Wolves. But like everything at Wolves, it stopped.
Yep. I don't know. I wouldn't be crazy excited about that. If we've got City next, if we keep Ralph and after Haaland scores his 38th goal of the season against us, I will be shocked. I won't lie, I'm nervous. Looking forward to my weekend away in Manchester.
I'm excited to kind of just switch my phone off and maybe just watch Match of the Day.
I don't think you're going to want to.
Do you know what? No, it'd be great. I would do. It'd be so great because if I do that and I watch Match of the Day and I see we're on first, I'm going to be so excited for about 2 minutes. We're like, oh my God, have we done something? And then like 9-0 later, I'm like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever.
Yeah. Statman saying, I'm living near Plymouth this year, so watching Argyle this season. Oh, nice. I'd have Argyle's manager in a heartbeat over Ralph. Oh, interesting. Let's check that out. Yeah, people coming in with score predictions already. Anything under 4-0, I'll be happy. Yeah, I'm kind of the same. But we do have a preview show coming out for that. That will be 8 o'clock on Thursday, so stay tuned for that. Stay tuned. You can do other things. You can turn off our YouTube channel.
No, you stay on this channel. Go watch some of that content back.
Just go back through. Yeah.
It's worth a rewatch. Start at the bottom, go to the top. I'm sure it's all still holds up. So I'm sure it's all still great.
Yeah. Red and white. I'm at City next week. Fully expect Haaland to tear us apart. And that Haaland will tear every team apart. He's a monster. 3 hat-tricks. 3 consecutive hat-tricks in the Premier League at home. I mean, that's in terms of the fastest 3 Premier League hat-tricks in mental, 8 appearances. 8.
Isn't the next one something like 48?
Yes.
Mental.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
But he has yet to do it on a rainy night in Stoke. So, and he couldn't do it on a Sunday evening at the Toon. So, you know, he does have weaknesses.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, conceding goals. Yeah. Even though there's relegations on the cards with Ralph, so why not change it up with a new manager? £700. It's a lot of money these days for a season ticket. It is indeed. In fact, I've been thinking about redoing my ranking season tickets and update it with this Premier League one because it did really well in numbers. So you know, it's all about the views, isn't it? YouTube. But yeah, I thought I might update that because there's a couple more interesting things put in there just to see how bad some of these clubs are pricing fans out of the game. He's saying, would you take 3-0 defeat the City? No.
If someone said 3-0 City right now, or the mystery box,
yeah, what will you take?
What will you take? The box.
Yeah. What are we going for? Is it going to be a win, a loss, a draw, or a cricket score? Let's see. Or someone said, "What is it like? What time are we kicking off on Saturday?" And someone put every 20.
Yeah.
Oh
Love that.
dear.
What you talking about?
Yeah. people
Hopefully
not
that
agreeing
was
with
a joke just for Callum there, and my opinion on Dyche is I like him.
Oh,
What you
okay.
talking about?
Oh dear. Oh yeah, interesting. Yeah, Joe Leach. Bayern Munich season ticket is a similar price to an Easterly one. We should be like Germany. That's very true. And I think there are season tickets at Munich that are like, this is going to be mad, like €7, and they get
Yeah.
passed down through families. So it's a very, very different kind of, fan ownership ish sort of stuff in terms of the stuff that where it should be. But that's what I'm talking about. So when I do that season ticket review thing, it will be about fans being priced out of the game. And so there's no atmosphere. It's full of rich tourists. What do you expect? So anyway.
I think St Mary's has a great value for money, but also like we pay more because we like where we sit. I'm fully in the acknowledgement that we could have cheaper season tickets if we want to sit somewhere else, but we like where we sit.
We could maybe get half the price of what we're spending on ours
if we wanted to. Yeah,
but we just like where we sit.
Yeah.
God, it sounds silly when you say it.
And also, when you go sit in the Northern, they tend to throw your GoPro. So,
yeah, maybe. Cool, excellent stuff. Right, well, I think that pretty much sums it up. If you're watching on replay, smash in the comment section your thoughts on Ralph. And please accept my apologies for clickbaiting you in here, but it's just about getting the census opinions on where we're at as a club, and also give some balanced views from you guys, and also your insights and our personal thoughts and opinions. But I guess to finally conclude it, Jack, you Ralph in or Ralph out?
I'm Ralph out.
Yeah, I am too. Sorry, Ralph. Love the man, but I just think it's time for a change. And I think that change is already in motion. And I think we're going to see something soon. But I'm convinced the conversation has already been had. And it's just about a transitional period right now. And we just need to be patient until the new person is ready to be the manager of Southampton Football Club. So
and that new person is... Big Sam Allardyce. Big Sam Allardyce.
There we go. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much to everyone for joining this stream. It has been an amusing one and a informative one. It's been great to get your insights, so really do appreciate you guys smashing the comments in the chat section there. And like I said, if you're watching this on replay, stick it in the comment section, and it'd be great to hear your thoughts and views on all of those kind of things. But like I said, we will be here on Thursday 8 p.m. to discuss the upcoming game at the Etihad. Can't wait.
Waka.
Indeed. But as always, remember to like, comment, share and subscribe, and we will see you on Thursday. All right, see ya.
Bye.